Hello dear students, I am glad to meet you back in Adarsh online classes. This video is 10th part in the series of active and passive voice. In this video we are going to learn all about future perfect tense. Here let us start. So before going on, let us recall our all 5 steps. With the help of these 5 steps we will convert our sentences. First step, identify subject, verb and object. Now question is, how can we identify subject, verb and object? Then verb is always action, so whatever is action in the sentence is a verb. At the same place subject is doer, so whoever is performing an action or activity is a subject. Okay, now object, so on what action is performing, that is a object. Is it clear? Okay, so now second step, which is swap subject to object and object to subject. We put subject in the place of object and object in the place of subject. Where third step, which is convert helping verb to verbs third form. We use past participle always in passive, so that's why I use verbs third form. Fourth step, add preposition by. We put by before our subject. Okay, so in this order, last step is add helping verb before main verb. Because of this step we are reading here, so just because of this step we are reading here are every tense one by one. So now we are in future perfect tense. So future perfect tense is last tense in this series. So with the help of these we can easily put or choose correct helping verb. Now here, before going on, let us see helping verb both in active and passive. Now in active, helping verb of future perfect tense is will, shall plus have plus verbs third form. Okay, now how helping verb in active is useful for us. With the help of this we can identify that our sentence is of which tense. Okay, while in which how we convert it. So helping verb in passive is will, shall plus have been plus verbs third form. So whenever you see helping verb will, shall plus have plus verbs third form in any active sentence, then helping verb in passive of the sentence would be will, shall plus have been plus verbs third form. Now let us start. So I have an example to understand it properly. You can see it that the police will caught the thieves. Okay, so now here let's write all 5 steps, which are identify subject, verb and object, swap subject to object and object to subject, convert main verb to verbs third form, add preposition by, and add correct helping verb. Okay, so here let's go towards our first step, which is identify subject, object and verb. As I told you earlier that subject is doer, who is performing our action here. So who is doer in this sentence? The police will caught the thief. Here our subject is the police, because the police is our doer here. So here we have our subject. Now let's go towards object. On what action is performing? So here action is performing on the thieves, so the thieves is a object, right? Now here one thing is still left, which is verb. Very easy, that verb is always action, so here action is caught, right? So caught is a verb. Now we have subject, object and verb. We know the elements of the sentence. Now let's convert it. So before going on, here I am writing the formula, that on the base of this formula we will put our elements to make passive. Okay, here you can see formula of passive is object plus helping verb plus verbs third form plus by plus a subject. Again I repeat, this is a formula of passive voice, while in active voice the formula is subject plus helping verb plus main verb plus object. Okay, so here let's go towards our second step, which is swap subject to object and object to subject. So here I put the thieves, which is an object. okay, in the place of subject, and subject the police in the place of object. Here we swap subject to object and object to subject. Done. Now next step, which is convert main verb to verb's third form. Here in verb is already verb's third form, so we keep it same, caught and caught, because caught is already verb's third form. Okay. Now fourth step, add preposition by. So here we put by before a subject, which is the police, here in the place of object, right? Now last is add helping verb. So before adding it, let us recall a helping verb, which is will, shall plus have plus verbs third form. Here actually it's a mixed mistake here, it is not verbs first form, it is verbs third form. Okay, will, shall plus have plus verbs third form in active, while in passive it is will, shall plus have been plus verbs third form. Okay. Now here let's put it here, which is will have been. Why we choose will have been? Because the thieves, according to the thieves, here we choose will. Okay. Now before going on, let me tell you one thing, that how to use will and shall. Shall is always used with I and we only. Okay. If our subject is I or we, then only we use shall, and with other objects, whether it's singular or plural or you or whatever, we always use will. But if our subject is I or we, then we use shall. Okay. Now here you can see we put everything according to its format. Now let's combine a sentence. The thieves will have been caught by the police. Okay, first sentence we done here. Now here let's go towards second one. So here is our second sentence, which is she will have invited you on her birthday. Okay. Now here let's go towards our first step, which is identify subject, object and verb. So in this order, our subject. So what is our subject? She, right? Because she is doer here, she is doing the activity of inviting, so she is the subject. Now object. So on what action is performing here? Here an action is performing on you, so you is a object. Okay. Now verb. Verb is always action, so here action is invited, so invited is a verb. Now we have subject, object and verb. Okay. Now let's go towards our second step. Before going on, I'm writing here the formula. You can see here object plus helping verb plus verb's third form plus by plus a subject. Okay. Now here let's go towards our second step, swap subject to object. So here I'm putting object, which is you, in the place of our subject. Now it's time to put subject in the place of object. But if you notice that our subject is a pronoun, right? So if you have checked previous videos and starting videos, then you know that if our subject is a pronoun, then conversion will be like I as me, he as him, she as her, we as us, they as them. If you haven't checked those videos, then please check it up, or if you need a revision, then also. Now as you know that here our subject is she, so it will change as her. Okay, so let us put her in the place of object. Okay, it's done here. Here let me tell you again that if our subject is a pronoun, then we will change its subjective form to its objective form. The same step we applies in object also. If our object is also a pronoun, then we change its objective form to its subjective form. Here in this sentence, you is also a pronoun, but we change you as you, because subjective form and objective form are same. Okay, so here let's go towards next step, which is convert main verb to verbs third form. So here our third form is invited already, because I told you that in active of future perfect we use verbs third form, so it is same here. Okay. Now fourth step, which is add preposition by. So here we put by before a subject. Now let us add helping verb. So let us recall here helping verb structure, which is will, shall plus have plus verbs third form. Here again I repeat, it's a mistake that it is a verbs first form. Here is verbs third form actually. So I'm sorry for that, but here is verbs third form, and you should know it that in perfect always we use verbs third form, whether it's of past, future, or present. So in active it is will, shall plus have plus verbs third form, and in passive it is will, shall plus have been plus verbs third form. And I told you one thing more, that if our subject is I or we, then only we use shall, otherwise we use will. Okay, so here we're gonna use will have been plus verbs third form. Verbs third form we already put here, so let us put will have been. Right, now this is also done. Now here we put our all elements. Here we put our all elements according to its formula. So let's combine it. So we will have been invited by her on her birthday. On her birthday is other part of our sentence, so we put it in the last, or you can put it inside the sentence also, that you will have been invited on her birthday by her. Okay, but don't forget that we always put by before our subject. We cannot put other words before her. Okay, so this is also done. So here let us start an exercise to understand it properly. Hopefully you understand it step by step. Now let us start our exercise. So in this exercise, first sentence is I shall have learned the lesson. So let me tell you here that all the sentences of this exercise is of future perfect tense. So it's here, now you are free to identify the tense. Okay, so in this let us identify first according to step first subject, object, and a verb. So verb is always action, so here as action is learned, so this is a verb. Now who is learning, right? So who is learning? I. So I is a subject, while what I is learning or what action is performing. So here the lesson, so the lesson is a object. Now we have subject, object, and verb. Okay, now let us go towards second step, which is put subject to object and object to subject. So in the next step we are going to put subject in the place of object and object in the place of subject. So we put the lesson in the place of subject and I in the place of object as me, because we are also changing here its subjective form to its objective form. Okay, and also going to use verbs third form, which is same here in active also, learned as learned, and put by also. So after all 5 steps our sentence would be the lesson will have been learned by me. So here you can see the lesson, which is a object, we put in place of subject and put me as subjective form to its objective form, okay, of our subject I, and put by also before it and use verbs third form. With it we also use helping verb as will have been. Okay, and I told you one thing also, that we use shall only with I and we. So here you can see its example, that we use shall here with I only. Okay, with the lesson we use will. So let me repeat here again, with only I and we use shall as a helping verb. Okay, now let's go towards second step. The children will have seen the show. Okay, so let us convert it to first and then talk about it. So here the show will have been seen by the children. Here you know very well that subject is always doer, so here the doer is children, so the children is a subject. Okay, and we put our subject in the place of object. In passive sentence you can see, and in active sentence our object is the show, because on it our action is performing. So here we put in passive in the place of subject, the show. Okay, and verb is seen, which is already verb's third form, so we keep it same, seen and seen in both. Now we put by before our subject, which is the children. Correct. Now in passive we use as a helping verb will have been. Okay, so it's very easy that you should know one thing only, that if our subject is I or we, then only we use shall, otherwise we use will have been. It's very easy, you don't need to pick any helping verb. It's same in every sentence if our subject is not I and we. Okay, so here this is also done. You can see first step we have done here of identifying, second swap, we done this also, third as verbs third, use verbs third form, this also, fourth put by, this also we have done, and fifth add helping verb, this also. So here let's go towards our next, which is he will have read this book. So in this sentence our subject is he, and he is also a pronoun. Okay, and our subject is he, with it our verb is read, and our object is this book, because he is reading this book. Okay, so he is here subject, read is verb, and this book is our object. Read is verb, I have told you, and who is reading? He. And what? It's this book. So it's done now. Now second is put subject in the place of object and object in the place of subject. So this book is our object, we put it in the place of subject, and our subject he, and he is also a pronoun, so we change its subjective form to its objective form. So objective form of he is him. So let's convert it and then talk about it. This book will have been read by him. Here we put by before our subject, and our subject is also here in its objective form, right? And we use here read, which is already verb's third form, which is common in both sentences because our sentence is of perfect tense. Okay, and as a helping verb we used here will have been. Now next step, next sentence, which is she will have taken the rest. Here our subject is she, verb is taken, and the test is our object. Now let us put our object in the place of subject. Object is the test, so we put it in the place of subject, and subject she in the place of object by changing its subjective form to its objective form. So we know very well that objective form of she is her, so we put it her as its objective form. Okay, and we also put by before our subject and use verb's third form, which is already used in our active sentence, and as a helping verb we use here will have been. Okay, so in the last our sentence would be the test will have been taken by her. This is also done. Now let us see here last sentence of this exercise, which is they will have sold their house. Okay, now in it our subject is they, which is a pronoun, and our verb is sold. Okay, and object is the house, so we are going to put their house in the place of subject and subject they in the place of object by changing its subjective form to objective form. They as them, they is subjective form and them is objective form. Okay, and we are going to put by also before them, and going to use third form sold, which is already used in our active sentence, and as a helping verb we are going to use will have been. So after all the steps our sentence would be the houses will have been sold by them. Okay, so here we done our exercise. Here we have done our exercise. Now if you have any question related to this, so you can ask me in comment box. Now as a homework I have here some sentences for you. Hopefully you will convert it Very well. Let us read them. He will have sold the car by tomorrow. He will have informed me. I shall have brought a car. They will have built the road by March. Okay, so these sentences are of homework. So you will change it active to passive, and don't forget all five steps and its helping verb also, which is will, shall plus have plus verbs third form. Again I tell you that it's here verbs third form. By mistake it is here verbs first form. So the correct is will, shall plus have plus verbs third form. Okay, I'm sorry for that, but it is third form. In passive it would be will, shall plus have been plus verbs third form. So so this is enough here in this video. Now here let me tell you that with this video we completed all tenses. Okay, now here we done that how to convert any simple active voice sentence into passive voice sentence. So now in the next video we will revise all the tenses and solve exercise also. Okay, and after it we are going to learn how to convert negative sentences and interrogative also. Okay, so let us meet there. Thank you so much for being here with me.